Early meta is beginning to form. Hey guys, Petko here. Welcome for another video. As you guys have already seen, there has been a several plus 20 keys time this week. Obviously, most of them by a Chinese region. And today we're going to talk about how the early meta is looking like, at least the representation on like top tier gaming between 17 and 20 keys, 18 and 20 keys, and do a live comparison. Alright, so looking at this, right now, currently the score stands around 3.7, already pushing 3.8k. I think 377 is like the highest score right now. As of this video, maybe it's gonna be close to 3.8 by the time this video is getting posted. But do keep in mind, on the tank representation right now, on the keys above 17, as you can see, 88% of the players are playing Brewmaster. Nothing surprising here, we already knew Brewmaster is gonna be extremely strong during beta. It was the strongest tank in the last couple weeks, and as you can see, already a month and a half into the expansion, give or take, Brewmaster retains its crown to be the best tank by far. And if you look in the keys into like 19, it becomes 91% only Brewmasters, and if I show you only 20 keys, you're gonna see 100% representation of tanks up to 20 keys is going to be Brewmaster. Now the gap between them and the second tank is humongous. Prot Warrior is super tanky just like the Brewmaster, however, unfortunately it fails to compete in damage department. Brewmaster is doing a lot more, very tanky, and once again fits everything else, so thumbs up to that one. Now, when it comes down to healers, there are different healers here examined. As you can see, this is on 17 and above this, but our domination and restoration druid, as we already told you, and I even told you myself, the Restoration Druid is likely the most promising healer right now in Mythic Plus. There are several variations of the Restoration Druid. They are different builds, but for the most part, you're going to see them being very often into the meta because, first of all, unique utility. You don't have Pharaoh, you don't have Restoration Druid, you don't have Balance, and you don't have Guardian. Now, the Balance Druid might change because Balance are getting some buffs, which will be implemented very soon into the live servers. For Europe is tomorrow, today is Tuesday, and later on today should be for America. So technically Balance Druids might start to come back into the top tier specs, but right now Restoration Druid absolutely dominates the meta. Very high sustain HPS, if not the highest HPS in the game. Strong utility, and as always quite tanky as well, so overall great. Monks are there, not surprising by the way. I think Monk is the second best healer right now in Mythic Plus. However, because of a physical comp meta, which are very often limited in high level keys, or in general all key levels, Restoration Shaman is up there. I think the HPS department of Monk is definitely better than Shaman, but once again, the physical comp without Sky Fury is not complete, therefore Shamans are very popular in that department. Paladin coming very close as well to them, but obviously it is still behind when it comes down to output comparatively. I'm just going to show you right now on the highest of the highest keys, 20 and above this. As you can see, it is majority Restoration Druids. Now rest Shamans once again can be put into the equation, but only within a physical comp meta. On the 19s, there are different healers, once again, timing them, but you know, those very like individual players. When it comes down to DPSers, there are several different DPSers popping off. Now, if you look at the 20s currently on the ladder, obviously most of the keys are timed with Augmentation Evoker, Unholy Decay, and you either see a DH or a Hunter. Now, Beastmaster Hunter has already been buffed several times in a row, so their output now is very competitive. But do keep in mind, the person that plays a Hunter right now is one trick, the best Chinese Hunter in the game. So he's gonna play Hunter no matter what, right? So that's something to consider. There are no other Hunter that are coming close in this ladder. As you can see, for the most of the time, you are just seeing Death Knights from different teams. You see Devourer DHs, but let me just show you the comparison. Range DPS only 19 keys right now. Augmentation Evoker, Demonology Warlock, Devourer DH are within the top 3. Obviously, nothing surprising here. I was really surprised, however, to see Ellie Shaman not really being picked up so much. Even though the utility of Ellie is great, I would assume the output is definitely lower than the Demonology Warlock, especially Demonology post buffs. If you guys didn't know, Demolog got last week some stealth buffs coming to Demonic Cores, which increased the output both on single target and AoE significantly. Therefore, I consider them the highest damage output spec into the game. And the Devourer DH, we already knew it's insane, so this makes no surprises. Augmentation, however, definitely surprised me. We have had augmentation within the A+ tiers for a while, but it seems like more and more Chinese team prefer to have augmentation. Now, there are two different theories why that is. Obviously, output is there. We've compared augmentation unlocks against the third DPSer, and the damage department is actually close, sometimes worse, sometimes better. It all depends on the key level, but the damage of Aug is definitely compatible. However, the safety that augmentation provides, especially in the first season where you don't have that high secondary stats, is definitely there once again. Verse to the DPS players, armor to the tank, slightly more healing to the healer. Overall, that's going to help you time some of the keys, because as you can see, look at this, look at the timers. They're timing 20s with like 3 to 4 minutes left on a timer, which means they can probably time 21 if they get the right key. So timer sometimes not an issue. As long as you live, that should be fine, especially if you have things like, you know, Unholy Decay, which right now is absolute beast, doesn't even die and has high output. I mean, there is no problem in that regard, right? And when it comes down to melee DPSers, let me just show you right now on the 17. This is 17 keys between 7 and 20. As you can see, the graph is pretty much the same here. The higher the key goes, the more augmentation evoker gets a hit, right? Obviously, that's what you should already see, because augmentation gets much higher value on the high level keys where you have a coordinated groups, set routes, so you can plan your cooldowns, get the best out of your spec as well. But on the 17s, etc., as you can see, the story is different. People prefer to play actually more DPSers or triple DPS instead of augmentation as well, right? So nothing surprising. Shadow Priest making a slight comeback after their most recent buffs last week, obviously. As you can see, only 3% representation, not that high, but still relatively better than what I could have imagined myself as well. But yeah, on a 20 is a different story. And when it comes down to melee DPSers right now on a 17 and above this, you're gonna mainly see DKs. Yep, very, very standard pickup. And rogues plus warriors plus feral druids are only there because of physical meta. If physical meta did not exist, you will not see them here. For the most part, it's gonna be mostly Death Knights, double range. That's kind of the standard comp. Retribution Paladin, obviously the most famous spec into the game. It's sneaking up to be the second most popular spec within the 17 keys and above this. Once again, if you are playing casual level keys, it doesn't really matter. This is just pretty much a comparison to what the current early meta looks like. But I think the only surprise out of everything that we just discussed right now, it's only one: augmentation. We expected Brewmaster to be here. We expected the Restoration Druid to be here. We knew Devourer is insane. We knew that Warlock was insane as well. DK. So the DK was kind of like very funny because they severely nerfed Death Knight way before the season came through by like, I think like double-digit nerf. But then they realized, oh shit, we actually nerfed DK way too much. So then they buffed it and they reverted the nerfs they did as well. So it came out as a buff. So that itself pushed Unholy Decay much higher on the ladder. Also, a lot of you are still confused on how early meta is being formed. I'm just gonna tell you right now. If you look at the World First rating roster, if you go to raids right now, you go to like bosses, or let's say Liquid, and if you see the bosses, right? Let's just say the kill that they killed the last boss, or let's just take into consideration something else. Let's say second to last boss, right? Which is this one, Belloran, right? You're gonna see for the most part you are bound to see the same classes that are repeating over and over again, and I believe they were stacking also warlocks, right? So you have only one hunter all the time, right? You get like a one hunter, and then you get like DKs, you get like a Retribution Paladin. These hunters, you can play PM Hunter and in general gear them up really quick if you need to. And the Shaman here is surprising, but the only reason why they're playing Shaman in this comp, I mean, think about it. Why do they need Shaman? It's because they don't have a Restoration Shaman, right? If you don't have Rest Shaman, then obviously you just go Ellie or Enhance. Right now, Elemental is better, so just go Ellie. But you don't pick up Ellie for damage. You could have a, for example, Warlock or another Oak Evoker or a Hunter or anything else would be better than Ellie Shaman. But right now, the specs that perform the best within the raid are mostly picked up to the highest level keys, because once again, the higher their level, the easier the early on keys are. So yeah, I think that's about it, chat. that's about it so far within the early meta. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And once again, I'm going to be monitoring the situation, reporting back in case there are more changes. And if they are, I'll be the first one to talk about them and keep you guys informed. That's it. Follow for more, and I'll see you guys on stream tomorrow. Bye for now.